Welcome to the Cell Structure Quiz Game. Get ready to test your biology knowledge with fun and challenging questions about the powerhouse of the cell, protein factories, and much more. Let's see how many you can get right. Good luck! Which organelle is known as the powerhouse of the cell? Mitochondrion. Which structure controls what enters and exits the cell? Plasma membrane. Which organelle contains digestive enzymes to break down macromolecules? Lysosome. The nucleolus is primarily responsible for the production of ribosomal RNA. Which organelle is responsible for protein synthesis? Ribosome. Which structure provides mechanical support and shape to plant cells? Cell wall. Which organelle modifies, sorts, and packages proteins? Golgi apparatus. Which organelle is abundant in liver cells for detoxification? Smooth ER. Chloroplasts are mainly found in which type of cells? Plant cells. Which organelle is double-membraned and contains its own DNA? Mitochondrion. The main function of peroxisomes is breakdown of fatty acids. Which organelle is directly involved in glycosylation of proteins? Golgi apparatus. What is the structural and functional unit of life? Cell. Which organelle is responsible for producing ATP in plant cells? Both chloroplast and mitochondrion. The endosymbiotic theory explains the origin of which organelles? Mitochondria and chloroplasts. Which organelle helps in maintaining osmotic balance in protists? Contractile vacuole. Which cell structure is continuous with the nuclear envelope? Rough ER. The cytosol plus organelles except the nucleus make up the cytoplasm. Which organelle plays a role in programmed cell death apoptosis? Mitochondrion. Which part of the nucleus allows RNA and proteins to exit? Nuclear pores. Which organelle is responsible for lipid synthesis? Smooth ER. What is the role of ribosomes on the rough ER? Protein synthesis for secretion. Which cellular component contains the genetic material? Nucleus. Which organelle generates reactive oxygen species during metabolism? Mitochondrion. Which organelle contains thylakoids and guana? Chloroplast. Which organelle sorts endocytosed material? Endosome. What is the primary function of the cytoskeleton? Structural support and transport. Which cellular compartment maintains acidic pH for enzyme activity? Lysosome. Which organelle stores calcium ions in muscle cells? Sarcoplasmic reticulum. What is the main difference between smooth ER and rough ER? Presence of ribosomes. Which organelle is associated with oxidative phosphorylation? Mitochondrion. In plant cells, the large central vacuole mainly functions in storage and turgor pressure. Which structure is absent in animal cells but present in plant cells? Cell wall. Which organelle contains catalase to break down hydrogen peroxide? Peroxisome. The inner folds of mitochondria are called cristae. Which organelle is involved in producing secretory vesicles? Golgi apparatus. Which organelle is sometimes called the suicide bag? Lysosome. What is the role of the centrosome in animal cells? Microtubule organization. Which organelle in plants stores pigments? Chromoplast. Which organelle helps in the detoxification of alcohol in hepatocytes? Smooth ER. The space inside the inner membrane of mitochondria is called matrix. Which organelle is responsible for packaging hydrolytic enzymes? Golgi apparatus. Rough ER. Which organelle contains ribosomes attached to its surface? Which organelle helps plants capture light energy? Chloroplast. Which structure supports cilia and flagella internally? Microtubules. Which structure in the nucleus supports its shape? Nuclear lamina. What type of ribosomes are found in mitochondria? (70S). Which organelle produces steroid hormones in cells? Smooth ER. Which organelle is unique to animal cells and absent in plants? Centriole. Which organelle is continuous with the outer nuclear membrane? Rough ER.